Hello students, I hope you all are doing great. So today I am here to take up the new chapter number 9, Heidi in the City in your Gurmoha books. So all of you open page number 81. So yes, before starting the chapter, I would just read out the introduction which is given in your book, and then I am going to read paragraph wise and then explain more. So yes, follow me. Heidi is an orphan of 5 years. She lives with her grandfather high up in the Alps and loves her life in the mountains. Then one day, her aunt Betty comes to take her to Frankfurt to be a companion to a lonely girl, Clara Sessman. Clara adores Heidi, but the housekeeper, Miss Rottenmeier, is very strict with her. Heidi longs to go back to her grandfather and friends in the Alps, as she finds city life difficult. So let us read about her first experience in the city. So this story is about a girl, an orphan girl actually, whose name is Heidi. So before starting about this chapter, I just want to tell you the meaning of this word orphan. So what does orphan mean? You see, orphan means a child whose parents are dead. So Heidi's parents are dead, that's why she is an orphan. She lives with her grandfather high up in the Alps. So Alps, what does Alps mean? You see the meaning is given here. Alps mean a mountain range in Switzerland. So that means Heidi is not used to city because she was staying in the Alps, which was a mountain range in Switzerland. So she was not used to the city life. Then one day her aunt Betty comes to take her to Frankfurt. So one day what happened, earlier this girl Heidi was living in the Alps, but one day her aunt comes to take her to the city. The name of the city is Frankfurt, which was in Germany. So you see, Frankfurt meaning is also given here. Frankfurt means a city in the country of Germany. So this was the city. And earlier Heidi was living on a mountain range. So now it will be a different experience for her. No, new experience for her. So Clara adores Heidi, but the housekeeper, Miss Rottenmeier, is very strict with her. Yes. So her auntie wanted to take her to the city. Why? Because she wanted her to be a companion of a lonely girl. There was one lonely girl who was staying in Frankfurt. So she wanted to be a companion to her. And this lonely girl's name was Clara Sessman. So Clara was a good girl. She adores Heidi. Adores means she used to love Heidi. But the housekeeper used to be very strict with her. With whom? With Heidi. So Heidi wanted to go back to her grandfather because she was not liking this city experience, because it was totally a new experience for her. So she was not liking it. She wanted to go back to her grandfather. Heidi longs to go back to her grandfather and friends in the Alps as she finds city life difficult. So longs to. What does longs to mean? You see the meaning is given here. Longs to means hopes or wishes to. That's what I told you, that she wanted to, or she was wishing to go back to her grandfather because she was finding this city life very difficult. She was thinking that it is just like a cage for her in which she got trapped. So now we are going to read the entire story paragraph wise, and then I am going to explain more. So please follow me. When Heidi opened her eyes the next morning, she found herself on a high bed in a large room. She was eager to look at the sky and the ground below, as she had always done at home. But the windows were too high for her, and she could only see the windows opposite. The poor child felt like a little bird trapped in a cage. So in this paragraph we see when Heidi opened her eyes the next morning. So now that means she has reached to a different city. The city's name was Frankfurt. Earlier she was in the Alps, now she is in Frankfurt. So when she opened her eyes, she found herself on a high bed in a large room. So this was a large room. This was a big room in which she was all alone. She was kept all alone and she was sleeping on the large bed. And she was eager to look at the sky and the ground below as she has always done at home. So she was used to all these. Like she was used to go out and see the sky and the ground. But here she was not seeing anything because she was kept in a room all alone. She was there all alone and she couldn't go out and see all those things. She couldn't witness the sky and and the ground. She wanted to see that, but she was not actually getting this opportunity to go out. But the windows were too high for her and she could see only the windows opposite. The poor child felt like a little bird trapped in a cage. Now she couldn't go out and she wanted to look outside the window. So she wanted to look outside the window, but the window was too high for her. So she couldn't climb up. So you can see in the picture also that she is standing on the stool to search because she wanted to see outside the windows, right? But she couldn't see anything because the windows were too high for her. So now the poor child feel like it is trapped in a little cage. Actually, she was feeling like she was trapped in a cage, means she was kept in a cage from where she couldn't go out. She was just trapped inside the cage. It was just like a cage for her because in the Alps she used to go out, move freely. But here she cannot do so. She was like trapped. So she is not feeling happy in this place. So now we see what happens next. Hedy asked the butler Sebastian if he could open one of the windows for her. Sebastian readily agreed. He opened a window and held her up on a stool so she could look outside. Hedy was very disappointed. I don't see anything but a street of stone. Is it the same way on the other side of the house? She asked sadly. Yes, replied Sebastian. Where do you go to look far down on everything? Asked Hedy. So now in this paragraph we see that Hedy asked the butler. So you can see this red color word given in your book, butler. So what does butler means? Butler means the chief helper of a house, means the head of the helpers. You can see, you know what are the domestic help or what are house help? The people who work in your house, like the people who washes your clothes or washes your utensils or guard your house. So they are your helpers. So butler was the chief helper of a house. So the butler known as the chief means the one who operates or the one who guides the other helpers known as the chief. So he was the main chief helper of a house. So she asked the butler Sebastian, whose name was Sebastian. So his name was Sebastian, if he could open one of the windows for her. So she could not climb up the windows because windows were too high for her. So she asked the butler to open one of the windows for her because she wanted to see outside. Sebastian readily agreed. Sebastian got agreed. Sebastian said, okay, I'll open the windows for you. He opened a window and held her up on a stool so she could look outside. So what did Sebastian do? Sebastian just opened the windows and held her. He gave her her stool and then she climbed up on the stool and she started looking outside the window. Hedy was very disappointed. Disappointed means she was not at all happy. She was very sad. She was not happy because she wanted to see outside, and then when she was seeing outside, she couldn't see anything. She was not seeing the beautiful sky, the ground, nothing. She could not see anything from there. I don't see anything but a street of stone. Means she couldn't see anything but just a street. Just one street which was made of stones and nothing else. Is it the same way on the other side of the house? She asked sadly. So she asked, this side I can see only stones, nothing else. So like it's the other side also I'll see the same thing only. She asked the butler. So the butler said, yes, you will see this only. In city you can see only the streets which are made of stones, nothing else. That's what he was trying to tell Hedy. Where do you go to look far down on everything? Asked Hedy. So she said, then where do you go? Where do you go to look everything? How do you see everything? If you want to see outside, you want to see everything, then how do you see? So he did not reply anything. That we'll see in the next page, because here he did not reply anything. She just asked the butler that I want to see everything. So how can I see everything from this window? Because I cannot see anything except the street and the stones. So yes, this was the story given on the first page. So now I'm going to explain the entire story which is given on first page in Hindi once again, just for your convenience. So Hedy एक ऐसी लड़की का नाम है, ये स्टोरी हेडी की है जो पहले कहाँ रहती थी, जो पहले पहाड़ों में रहती थी, स्विट्जरलैंड के पहाड़ों पर रहती थी हेडी, लेकिन अब वो कहाँ आ चुकी है, सिटी। तो सिटी की लाइफ और पहाड़ों की लाइफ बहुत डिफरेंट होती है, राइट। तो वो पहाड़ों से पहले किसके साथ रहती थी, अपने दादाजी के साथ रहती थी। क्यों? क्योंकि उसके मम्मी पापा मर चुके थे, उनके मतलब डेथ हो चुकी थी। तो वो अपने पहाड़ों पर अपने दादाजी के साथ रहती थी। अब वो वहाँ से कहाँ आ चुकी है, फ्रैंकफर्ट एक सिटी है, वहाँ आ चुकी है। क्यों? क्योंकि उसकी आंटी उसको लेकर आई हैं क्योंकि वो चाहती थी कि हैदी एक ऐसी लड़की के साथ, एक और लड़की उनकी आंटी के साथ रहती है जो बहुत ही अकेली है, तो उसको भी एक साथी चाहिए था। तो इसीलिए उसकी आंटी उसको वहाँ से पहाड़ों से लेकर आई हैं, ताकि सिटी में लेकर आई हैं, ताकि वो उस लड़की की साथी बन सके। है उस लड़की का नाम क्या है? क्लैरा। उसके बारे में भी हम आगे पढ़ेंगे। क्लैरा के बारे में कुछ नहीं बताया, बस ये बताया कि क्लैरा एक अकेली लड़की है जिसको एक साथी की जरूरत थी, इसलिए उसकी आंटी हैदी को लेकर आती है क्लैरा के लिए। तो क्लैरा तो हैदी को बहुत प्यार करती है, लेकिन जो उसका जो उनके घर में जो काम करते हैं, वो बहुत ही स्ट्रिक्ट है। जो काम करने वाले लोग हैं वो बहुत ही स्ट्रिक्ट रहते हैं। तो हैदी अपने रूम में बेचारी अकेली पड़ी हुई है। वो अकेली जब उठती है, आंखें खोलती है, तो देखती है कि मैं तो इतने बड़े कमरे में अकेली हूँ, इतने बड़े बेड पे मैं अकेली हूँ। तब वो जो बाहर विंडो के खिड़की के बाहर देखना चाहती है, लेकिन खिड़की बहुत ऊंची है उसकी हाइट से। वो तो छोटी बच्ची है, आप बुक में भी देखना, यू कैन सी इन द बुक ऑल्सो दैट शी इज अ स्मॉल लिटिल गर्ल, छोटी सी बच्ची है, तो बाहर देख नहीं पा रही है। तो उसको अपने उनसे कहती है बटलर। बटलर कौन होते हैं? जो कि सारे घर के नौकरों के हेड होते हैं। तो उनसे कहती है कि प्लीज आप मुझे विंडो के बाहर दिखा सकते हैं, या विंडो को खोल सकते हैं, खिड़की को खोल सकते हैं। तो बटलर आके खिड़की को खोल देते हैं उनके लिए, और उसके लिए एक स्टूल भी रख देते हैं कि जाओ चढ़ के तुम देखो, खिड़की के बाहर तुम्हें देखना है तो देखो। जब वो खिड़की के बाहर देखती है हैदी, तो उसे कुछ नहीं दिखता है। जो चीजें उसे पहाड़ों पर दिखती थी, बाहर जब वो खोलती थी तो बहुत ही उसको एकदम सुंदर सा आसमान, सुंदर सी वादी सब दिखता था। लेकिन यहाँ से उसको सिटी में कुछ नहीं दिख रहा है। क्या दिख रहा है? सिर्फ एक खाली रोड, पत्थर की रोड दिख रही है, बस, और कुछ नहीं। तो वो बटलर से पूछती है कि क्या उसके दूसरे साइड भी अगर मैं देखूंगी तो मुझे यही दिखेगा, पत्थर वाली रोड, और कुछ नहीं? तो वो कहता है नहीं, बस यही दिखेगा। तो वो ये सुन के बहुत ही सैड हो जाता है, उसको बहुत दुख होता है, क्योंकि वो मिस कर रही है। उसको याद आ रही है अपने पुराने घर की, पहाड़ों वाले घर की, अपने दादाजी के साथ जब वो बाहर उठती थी तो बाहर सबको देखती थी, पहाड़ों को देखती थी, आसमान को देखती थी और खुश रहती थी। यहाँ से उसको कुछ नहीं दिख रहा है, सिर्फ एक रोड दिख रही है। तो इसलिए उसको बहुत ही वापस जाने का मन है। तो अब देखते हैं कि आगे क्या होता है। वो बटलर से भी पूछती है कि जब आपको सारी चीज़ें देखनी होती तो आप कैसे देखते हो, क्योंकि यहाँ खिड़की के बाहर तो कुछ दिख ही नहीं रहा है, तब आपको कुछ देखने का मन करता है तो आप कैसे देखते हैं? तो अभी इसका जवाब बटलर ने नहीं दिया है, तो वो हमें आप बाद में पता चलेगा। सो यस, दिस वॉज द स्टोरी विच वॉज गिवन ऑन द फर्स्ट पेज. I hope you have understood the first page of the story. The next page I am going to take up in the next video. But for today, only this much is there. So you know what is your homework? Yes, you have to learn these word meanings which are given on the board. Please learn these word meanings. Okay? So the next page I am going to explain in the next video. So yes, that's all for today. Thank you.